Class is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, traders. Can you hear me and see my screen? If you could just type yes in the questions. All right, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Okay, let's get started. Welcome to the Bookmap Platform Details webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap. Risk disclaimer: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. You go to bookmap.com for more information. When you subscribe to Bookmap, it comes with education. You get access to our 4-part educational course, and you can access that anytime. Then we have advanced order flow webinars that support that educational course, and those start at 11 a.m. Eastern time following this webinar. So you get access to that. With this concept here, very simple and straightforward. Learn about a Bookmap and learn about order flow very precisely, and then see it in the live markets every day. Okay, so let's jump over to that website. Now, today's webinar, what we're going to do here is going to be a little different. I'm going to go through more and talk about just the liquidity today. If you guys I mean, I'll cover a little bit of the volume as well, but since the heat map is something maybe foreign to a lot of traders, we're going to go through that and how to understand liquidity, both current and historical, and start to put some context together. Okay, so we'll spend some more time on that instead of the traded volume. Okay, as most of us are very accustomed to looking at that traded volume. Anyway, let's jump over to that website and let me just briefly go through it here. Bookmap.com, intro video, information about Bookmap, and we're just scroll down here to connectivity. So this is important because Bookmap is not a data provider. We are a visualization software trading platform. Okay, so to connect Bookmap to futures and US equities, you will need to provide the data. Okay, now you can see there's some other platforms listed here for connectivity: Ninja, TTX Trader Pro, and Interactive Brokers Traders Workstation. We connect via the API of these 3 different platforms. However, we're a platform just as they are, so it's better to connect directly through CQG, Rhythmic, Gain, IQ Feed, Transact, and Dev Experts. The Dev Experts is for NASDAQ Total View. And we'll scroll up here a little bit because we can cover that Bookmap for equities here. So all US equities and some nice advantages you can read about here with that NASDAQ total view. All right, a little bit further down, the Bookmap subscriptions packages that are available here. You can subscribe yearly or monthly. You get 20% discount if it's yearly. Monthly here, there are some different versions that are available. Global and digital, and let me go through the 2 different ones here. Now, one is free here. If the digital version, it's a 24-hour market, 7 days a week for digital currencies, and you get full working copy of Bookmap with free data to the GDAX exchange, but it's only for one digital currency at a time. Okay, so it's you get limited support and only basic education, not that advanced education. The Digital Plus version, you can trade in real time right from the Bookmap chart into your GDAX exchange account. You can record and replay your data. You have multiple instruments, up to 20, that you can access, and you get the advanced education and full support. Okay, now the global version. The global just means that it includes digital and all the other markets that we connect to. Okay, so for the futures, it offers that connectivity to the futures markets and the US equities. The Global Plus version, what this one covers is it includes everything, but the big difference here is that the add-ons, okay, proprietary indicators we put together that look at very specific order flow phenomena. So one is the ability to trade right from the chart, which is nice because we have the liquidity there in front of you. So if you want to front run high liquidity, it's very, very simple. Or if you want to hide your stops behind very high liquidity, that's equally easy. There's a large lot tracker here. This is an add-on indicator where we start to identify larger players holding the majority of liquidity at specific price levels. And then some imbalance indicators, an iceberg detector here, again, looking at specific players where they're using hidden orders, not showing liquidity. And we can start to identify them using our indicators. And then a correlation tracker here. So you can add different markets on your screen. Okay, so let's jump over to social media. You can follow us on Twitter here at bookmap_pro. Some new articles, videos, images, etc., retweets of other traders. And then on YouTube, you can subscribe to our YouTube page here. There's just some playlists on the front page. I'll go through a playlist of intro videos here, playlist of all the different features and components, and then playlist of these order flow video snippets. Okay, these are very concise videos, just a few minutes long, that go through specific order flow phenomena that Bookmap can uncover. Okay, and this is what we go through in detail in the advanced order flow webinars. All right, that said, let's go and look at Bookmap here and go through some of the details. Okay, so now if you're new to Bookmap, we're looking here at the S&P E-mini, and you can see I have these 3D volume dots. So for those guys who are currently subscribed, you will get access to this very soon. I think maybe end of the week here. Right? No promises on that, but keep an eye out here. It's a new update for this version 7 beta version. All right. Now let me close down some of the deselect some of the indicator panels. We have some different indicators here, a VWAP that I was just showing, and then cumulative volume delta sub chart there, and then also this point of control here I want to get rid of. So we're just looking at very simple data here in Bookmap. Okay, well, what is it? What are we looking at? It's really straightforward. We're looking at just 3 elements on this chart. Okay, the historical best bid and offer, the volume that traded on that historical best bid and offer, and then the heat map. Okay, and the heat map, like I said, I'm going to go through this in more detail today. I'll very quickly define these elements so you guys know what we're looking at, but then I'm going to get into the heat map more specifically. All right, so these 3 elements, let's just show an advantage why it's very, very simple data, but it's really offering a tremendous amount of transparency here. Okay, so here's a very simple 5-minute candlestick chart, and each period here, or each candle, is showing a 5-minute time period of open, high, low, and close, and that's it. Okay, now we're all accustomed to looking at these candlesticks. And the problem here with these candlesticks is it's aggregated data. Okay, we want to know what happened within that candle, and we can't. It's completely closed off. It's very opaque. Right now, we want to understand that because it offers us tremendous insight to what's going on. For example, where are some of the microstructures within that candle? What about the volume? Where did it trade? Very specifically, how much, what type, and when, and how quick were the moves? None of that is here within this 5-minute chart. Okay, so let's turn on just the historical best bid and offer and look at microstructure. So all it is truly what price was, best offer and best bid, and we can start to see little areas of consolidation, like here. And then breaks of that return back to where it broke from. All these kind of little details here really give us a lot of insight, and it allows you, for example, to manage or optimize your entries and exits. So, for example, the move down below here, a little structural element here, move down below, right back up. Well, if it trades down below the bigger structure here, as you can see all together, this is, and you're looking and you're bearish based on this move to the downside here. Well, this is a great entry point, and you can anticipate that movement back to where it broke from. Okay, now it came one tick away from exactly where it broke from, right? And it failed from that point on. All right, so that would have been a nice little move for about probably six or seven S&P points, six points. Okay. Anyway, what about the volume? Okay, so we'll look at and turn the volume dots on here, and now we have that answer with that volume, right? What exactly occurred here? Okay, so if I zoom into this little area in this breakdown, right? Okay, well, we can see the red dots pulling this market down very, very quickly. Okay, and then here's our return right back up to that area. It actually did test right back up to where it dropped from. Okay, even a tick right into it there. All right, so the volume dots. Just want to show this is that second element on the Bookmap chart, and I'll just show very quickly what it is, and then let's get to that heat map. Okay, here it is in detail. Now I'm zooming way inside here into microsecond level, millions of seconds. Bookmap can handle that, but here are these two elements, and it's just such objective information. Number one, best offer and bid here. Okay, green is bid, red is offer, and then the dots. Okay, the volume. This is the aggressor. Okay, the market buy order. Across the spread, they took liquidity off of the best offer, and a dot paints here. Right, so that's what we're looking at here in terms of volume. And you'll note that when we start to zoom back out, we will every single element is recorded here and plotted into the chart. Okay, but we'll just visually and graphically aggregate that into a bigger dot here, so that you understand precisely what occurred in some of these areas. And you can use the rollover tool here to know that precise data. 172 is the volume for this big dot here. Okay, and the majority of it was buying, as you can see. All right. Okay, so that's the volume. Let's get to this heat map, and let me explain. Let's take off this candlestick chart and put on that heat map. Okay. All right. So now what is the rest of the chart? Okay, it's this colored heat map that we have here. Okay, I just turn it off here. Okay, and you turn it back on. In this colored heat map, the scale of the heat map is up here, and you can see that orange is the highest area of liquidity, all the way down to black, which is the lowest area of liquidity. So what do I mean by liquidity? Okay, let's zoom into this current market and take a look. Liquidity is in your DOM, your depth of market. This COB column represents the DOM in Bookmap. So you can see my price ladder here, okay, and you can see these contracts, these numeric values here. This is liquidity. These are traders lined up on the offer in the depth here to provide liquidity. Now note that someone just came in with very, very high liquidity, and and they just pulled then. Okay, so you note that change right here. Okay, that's what occurred here. In fact, let me bring down this. It's a little too much to see at the moment. There we go. That looks a little bit better. All right. So we just recorded that high liquidity. Someone popped into the book here. Okay. They showed 1,300 contracts, and it became bright orange, and then they pulled. Okay, and it's back to like this 450, 447. Okay, so the current market window is this window here with the best bid and offer. Okay, the number here is this last traded volume, and then here's your price ladder, and then here's your depth of market. Okay, so any questions on that, let me know. But what we do is we take these numeric values, okay, and then we'll paint them into the heat map. So let's just go back to this one example that we covered. Okay, so here it was at this blue area here. Right, here's our best offer, best bid, and then here's this area up here was 435 contracts that were up at this 2714.5. level. Okay, and then as we scroll forward, all of a sudden someone popped into the book here. Okay, and they added like about 900 contracts there. Okay, and look at this little white line here. Okay, is showing that this is our large lot tracker indicator that you get with the Bookmap Global Plus. Okay, and it shows that out of those new 900 contracts that came into the market here, it's pretty clear that it's one individual actor, because it went from 435 right up to 1340. Okay, and he stayed in here for a very brief time, and then he pulled. Okay, and that's what it looks like here in the heat map, that recording of it. So we take that current market data here with the best bid and offer, and you'll see when the numeric values change, the heat map changes. Okay, and then it's recorded and plotted on the chart historically. Okay, now most of us are, the dome is great for the current market view. Okay, but when these numbers change, you have no clue unless you remember what those areas were. Okay, now Bookmap is able to easily solve that. And look at that player come right back in here. He was here, he's coming right back in. Okay, so anyway, we can now zoom out and use our dome on much higher time frames because we got it all recorded. Okay, so this is this move down here, the move down into higher liquidity. Okay, that's on the bid, right? And let's just see if these guys did they stay in this book or not, and let's make a determination between real and fake liquidity. Okay, this is real liquidity. They're staying in the book here. Some of it was pulled, but it's trading. You see the transactions taking place right into this high liquidity. Okay, about 700 contracts were here, and the sellers took them on and traded into it. Okay, now overall 314 of these 700 traded. So some of it was pulled, but some of it traded. Okay, so that was a partially filled area of high liquidity. Okay, and it looks like it's the same down here. All right, so very high liquidity here, 884 contracts, and out of that 444 traded. And here are the transactions. So they're starting to absorb a little bit more as price is coming down. Okay, you can see they absorbed a lot here. Okay, so traded right into it, 651 traded. Okay, so we're starting to note larger players getting interested down at these price levels, and they're starting to provide this liquidity, and they're getting filled. Okay, and here again, okay, this one's even clearer. Okay, high liquidity, and they're trading right into it. Okay, eating away at this liquidity here. Okay, and that's going to stop. Well, if there are more buyers stepping into a market, okay, and the sellers remains about the same, well then obviously it's going to slow down that selling because they're getting absorbed, and at a certain point there won't be any more selling, and then buyers are going to step in, and they do. Okay, and we get this kind of reversal here. Right, and on the way back up, now we saw some of that partially filled liquidity on the way down. Okay, and that was real liquidity, right? We made a distinction. Now, looking at the dome and understanding your depth of market, it's going to be difficult to know and remember. There were 3 levels there of liquidity, partially getting filled, partially getting pulled, and getting more interested as it's going lower. And to understand that. Whereas here, we just have to zoom out, and we can see very clearly this is where they are. And we know that they're getting filled. We verified it. Okay, and now here we are starting to reverse, and now look at the liquidity on the offer. Okay, price is coming up into these areas, and these guys are pulling. Okay, and in fact, we can start to identify very specific players here. Looks to be like one player here holding the majority of this liquidity, because the moment he's providing this liquidity and he pulls it, he's adding it higher. Okay, he pulls it here, he adds it higher, he pulls it here again and adds it higher. So, very, very high probability, almost certainty, it is one individual actor. Okay, and then now let's gauge their intent to trade. Well, nothing traded here. I mean, we see the trades that take place here, but he pulled that liquidity. So he does not want to trade. This is fake liquidity. Okay, so we're able to make that distinction very easily and understand that they do not have the intent to trade. They're pulling that liquidity, and buyers still continue to buy. Okay, searching for high liquidity. Okay? And we continue to search. They even pull up here. Right, the price continues to go higher. Okay, until here, we start to find higher liquidity. Right, and now we're starting to note the trading taking place into that area here. Okay, so this is where these buyers are meeting their sellers up here, and the bigger transactions are taking place. Okay, so being able to understand these areas of liquidity and their intent to trade at these areas is something here that you can really start to utilize Bookmap to your advantage. Okay. So for example, just going through areas of support and resistance, okay, understanding or channels, price channels. Like right now, what's going on with current price? Well, the current book right now, most of the traders are down here, 600 contracts at 27.10. And then a little bit starting to kind of show at 10.5. But then here they are, majority of them up at 27.16 and 16.5. 15 is also starting to show a little bit of interest. And we're just channeling between those two areas right now. Okay, we're getting kind of a book skew here. More, see how it's getting built out here on the bid. Okay, well, let's see if there's a reaction here. I would anticipate a reaction up into 15. If they're going to show interest here and price is repelled by that. Okay, now some interest came in at 14 here. So that put the see how they came in here at 14, okay, with 400 contracts. Okay, but in the overall here, now he's pulling, okay, a bit, and they just see how they're just showing here. It's a little bit of a cat and mouse game here, but still, if they're going to provide more liquidity down here, and price moves away, and they're pulling here, I'm looking for 15 to trade. Okay, very, very simple stuff. Abdul, let's see. Would subscription to global heat map, or do you need global plus? Oh no, you get the heat map with the global. With the global plus though, you get all the add-on indicators. So for example, that large lot tracker that I was showing you, that one individual actor was providing that liquidity, those 900 contracts. Okay, or the ability to trade right from the chart. Okay, now here's that book skew again. This is even a clearer example. Okay, adding even more liquidity, okay, down at this level here, and then at 13 as well, right? And then they pulled up here at 15, and we saw the reaction here, right? So anyway, we haven't gotten up. We got up to 14.5. We haven't gotten up to 15 yet, but they're also starting to come back in at 15. So you can see this dynamic as well, very dynamic. But you can see the reaction to the orders, okay, and how it affects price. And in the overall picture here, what we're doing is trading between these areas of high liquidity. Okay, 15 is starting to show even higher liquidity now. See how that's changed over time? And when we first were looking at it, they weren't showing as many contracts here. Now it's turning yellow, a paler yellow, but it's still higher than it was before. Okay, over 500 contracts. Okay, so let's just cover a bit more here regarding this high liquidity and starting to understand how it works and how it gives us an advantage. Okay. So we can see that, there's up at this swing here. Well, that's why they're up here at 16 is they want to be sellers up here, and they're already in the queue waiting. Okay, so that is a deal for those sellers. They think that this is a deal that they can get it at a pretty overpriced area and then sell it, have price come back down into the mean or maybe the VWAP or something, and then sell it for a profit. Okay, very, very simple strategy. Okay, just fading the outside edges. All right, so starting to understand now maybe a little bit of context of some of the price swings and where the liquidity is. Okay, so we've gone through a lot of different examples here. This is what we go through in a lot more detail in the advanced order flow webinars, but you starting to understand some absorption on the way down here and how it starts to take away all of the selling or absorb all of the selling pressure. Okay, and then buyers will start to come in at a certain point, and then we get a nice move back up. Okay, anyway, let's see if there's no questions here. Abdul, it's up to you if you want to try that Global Plus. Then you can subscribe for a month, and you can always, if you don't want all of those add-on indicators, you can always go back to the global version. No, DX feed you need to subscribe to. We do not provide the data for the DX feed, which is U.S. equities, nor for the futures. Okay, we will provide free data only for that GDAX exchange for the digital currencies that you will get for free. Okay. Well, you can get the Bookmap free version. Here, let me show you the pricing page again. One digital currency for free, and that's more than a month. Okay, but there are no trials of the product. It's a month. I mean, if you want to check it out, $49 per month. That's pretty reasonable, and you get it for a month. So if it's something that doesn't work for you, then don't resubscribe. Okay. Or if you like it, then you're looking for maybe a little bit more insight as well, or you want to trade from the chart. Then you can always upgrade very easily to the next month at any time, basically, and go for the Global Plus version. Okay. All right, guys. Let's call it a day, and we will do the same thing tomorrow morning. Okay. Thanks for coming.